16th, bar to bar recap since my live trading screen recording got deleted somehow. So I'll just do a quick review of the day. Overnight / yesterday was one big range. Today there was a lot of news from 10:30, basically every half hour after that up until 1. Follow the shortened trend lines and the range rules. So we had an uptrend with a break new high. This is the open line. We have a trend up, break new high, trend down with overshoot, no new low. And then we have a range retest up here. So my thought is holding on to the range, small uptrend up that sharpened up to this. Then we have a break and on to a new high. The thought process here is you are fading the breakout of the range because most breakouts fail. So we're looking for a second entry short or a failed second entry long. So from this point on, I am looking for failed second entry longs. See a downtrend from this new high. We'll put the new high here. We see a step down, break, first entry long, lower high, break, new low, which bounced resistance of the range. I'm looking for a failed second entry long, or obviously a second entry short, which we don't get. We have a first entry short, nothing. Break, new low, first leg correction, second leg correction, which is also one leg, two leg, pullback correction, right? Get rid of these. So we have a first leg up correction, second leg up correction, both failing EMA. And from this point on, you have first entry long, second entry long failure immediately. And similar to yesterday's trade of a failed second entry long, we saw it fail and come up and retest EMA. And it gets real close to ticking above this failed second entry long. I got in on this failed second entry. I got in right around here, basically at the resistance of the range. And I got in, I figured it would come up and retest EMA. Could have got in at EMA, not too worried about it, and I had my stop above this pivot of this failed second entry. My take profit was all the way down here towards VWAP. One leg, two leg pullback, failed second entry long. You could have got in on this lower high fail off EMA and watched it fall. We also created a larger trend down. When you see a continuation of lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, you need to respect and write in the downtrend. When I see a consistent pullback lower high, even in a range, instead of drawing something like this, the shortened downtrend, which would be something like this, break, new low, something like this, break, new low. If the overall trend is down and you have multiple candles respecting a larger trend line, you need to draw it in. Will be more respected by the market than these little blimps. So failed second entry long, break above VWAP. We're expecting a new low. So can't go long here. Number one, we haven't revisited the bottom of the range and we are still ranging. Number two, we need a new low off of this before we could start thinking long anyways. Draw your shortened trend lines on your corrections. So you have something like this. Then we have a break, one leg down to a new high. And then we have a failure back down to a new low. I was becoming a little wary because of this gap that we see, right? Luckily, we broke out of this new low, created a small two-legged pullback right here, one leg, two leg with a lower high, rejecting off of EMA, to complete the visit to the other side of the range. So this is another one, another failed second entry long, lower high two-legged pullback. I'll write it in, but I would not take it because we are so close to the bottom of the range that there's not much room for profit. We revisit the bottom of the range. You're expecting to see a fade of the breakout right here, long. So you're looking for failed second entry shorts and or second entry longs. Now here is interesting. We have a slight congestion going on. We have a little double top right here, which turns into a S test. We have rejection, S, boom, rejection of VWAP, test, fail. And this is where you stop thinking about range rules coming back to the top when we have a blatant failure, middle of the range, just so happens to be VWAP, and we have a blatant fail of this resistance turned support. We have 3 tests and a failure all the way back down to the support of the range, and we did not come up and retest. So everything's starting to look more short biased from this point. So range rules are now out of the window because the range is not being respected. So from this point on, we had 1-2 trades available to us. You can argue here as well for a first entry short, second entry short, great signal bar, huge dump. The only reason why I would be slightly wary of taking it is because we still have yet to come down to the middle of the range, or the bottom of the range, and we burst out of the range. So same thing here, where we're thinking range rules may be out the window. You're thinking the same thing here, right? We'll type it in. So from that point on, we're very short biased. Range rules have been very much not respected. So we need to figure out what's going on here. We can see somewhat of a channel forming like this, right? And the bottom of it is a little hard to find. Something like this, right? Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to tell a story. So we start trending down. We have, from this point, personally, I sit on my hands and wait for the market to react to either a downtrend or a bounce back up in the range. This is all during news, so don't trade during news. And then we have a first entry short, first entry short, first entry short, first entry short, second entry short. Terrible signal bar, terrible context because we have overshoot, so you're expecting trend reversal, and nothing's really great here in my opinion. And then we see a huge bounce off of this low, and you see a break of the downtrend. So first instinct is you're expecting new low. Keep in mind we have overshoot, so overshoot can reverse the market. So don't hold too deeply onto expecting break new low, which I wasn't, and I saw this massive uptrend being respected all the way up back into the range. So my thought process is this whole downtrend was news, and we're still adhering to range rules in my opinion. So I'm going to drag the range back so that we can see what we are working with. Correction phase uptrend, and then you have a break right here and a new high. And we get ever so close to touching the top of the range. If you go back, you can see that this range has been respected for a long time. And you could bring it down a tick, you could bring it up a tick. Does not matter. The bigger issues that we see are big gaps like this. So from this point on, we see a range retest, a range resistance retest. So in a blatant rejection, off of the new high. So I'm looking for opportunities to go short. So I see a first entry long, second entry long that did not fail. We have a break, so we're expecting new low. We have a first entry short, and a little bit. First entry short, second entry short with a terrible signal bar. However, we are rejecting the EMA. We come down to a new low, which perfectly tests range support. So the range is still in play. From this point on, we're looking for second entry longs or failed second entry shorts. We have a first entry long, which balloons up, first entry short, and a second entry short, lower high, a gap up, and we begin our descent out of the range once again. Super tricky, but if you look closely, you can see that off of this break, new low, correction, you see first leg up, second leg up, lower high, dump, failure of the range, failure to meet the top side of the range. So this is why you just need to be paying attention to these legs and drawing them in as you go. So now from this point on, I'm thinking again that range rules have been violated. We must be forming a trend. So from that point on, you need to let the market have time to formulate a bias. And as you can see, we start forming a nice trend up. And the question is, where does the trend start? General rule of thumb, I like to start a trend from its low. So you can see right here, we have a trend like this, and then we have a break way up to a new high, right? So this created a spike off of this new high. And oftentimes when you see a spike, you will see a channel followed by it, aka spike and a channel. And we formed a nice uptrend from here. And as you can see, from this point on, we're looking for second entry longs. And off of the EMA, first entry long, second entry long, terrible signal bar, nothing there. We also have first entry short, second entry short, which fails right here. Decent context, a nice failure off of EMA to continue higher. And then we have a new high, first entry long, second entry long. This is my favorite second entry long, the one that I would prefer as opposed to the failed second entry short, because we have created a new high, so a higher high. We have a great signal bar, right, which is a bullish hammer. Even though it's red, it's still bullish. Look at all of the sellers that got ignored on that play. And you see a micro support being respected, right there. Beautiful second entry long, which also happens to be a first entry short, failed second entry short. And from then on, this uptrend would have taken you into close where we see overshoot. So chances are we will see a break of the channel and another range is my guess. That's it. Pretty hard to read today, but not terrible.